Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, 49ers fans? It is absolutely incredible to be with you guys today. It is, man, I'll say this. We played the Seattle Seahawks on Thursday. Today's Monday as we are recording this. And it just feels, I don't know, things feel different right now. The 49ers kind of have their postseason, not kind of, they do have their season ticket stamped. They're good. They're hosting at least one playoff game no matter what. They're in the 3 seed currently. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But it's just weird because when you're still actively in a season, right? I mean, we're going into week 16. We've got 3 games left. Everything that you do, the preparation for the year, whether as a podcast, as a team, fan base, whatever, it's go get into the playoffs. And to have the type of season that the 49ers have had and to be the first team to win their division in the entire NFL, it's just weird as hell. It's weird. And, you know, shout out to my main man, Josh over here, 49ers faithful forever. Defense talk, my favorite. This is going to be a very defensive heavy episode. And we're going to be going through like where this defense ranks historically, which I know a lot of other shows are doing right now, but I just think it's so huge. I'm getting emails. It's a beautiful conversation to have because the 49ers historically are by far one of the best defensive franchises known to the NFL. Now, we usually get labeled the opposite because of Bill Walsh, Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, Steve Young, you know, all those types of things, Terrell Owens, all that stuff. What's up, Mosquito Killer? But I'm sorry. I hate to do this, but I'm going to do this. I think defensively, we are a much more, I don't have the numbers to back this up. I think we're a defense first team. And I think that 100% is the fact. If you look at the current 49ers, the 2022 49ers, look at the draft capital, look at the money itself, defense. That's just what it is. Oh, what's up? We got a new member. What's up, Scott? Big fan, dude. Scott's been here for a minute. Appreciate you joining as a new member. That is huge. Great way to help the show, help the channel grow. I freaking love it. I love it. And JP says, I sent your shirt to Breezy. He got to send it to you, brother. Man, thank you. I love it. And Josh, yeah, it feels great to be a 49ers fan. We are the NFC West champs, baby. Plain and simple. Every single team's number one goal going into a year is to win your division. 49ers did it before anybody else. I freaking love it. Absolutely love it. So here's what we got today. And shout out to Sierra. She's over on Facebook. I love it. We do stream live on Facebook. Most people show up on YouTube, but we are live there, Twitch as well. We're also live over on Twitter. And for those of you that don't catch it live, we're everywhere the podcasting community loads podcasts. I do want to apologize to you. Spotify, which I go through their Spotify Megaphone podcast platform, crashed this weekend. So that's why the episode cut off at 9 minutes. I reloaded it like 4 times, but Spotify, like their whole thing like went down. Their podcast like hosting agency app or whatever, but it's up now, so we should be good. So Sierra, thank you, appreciate the kind words. I love it. Cristiano, what's up, man? He says our D will take Washington's soul, and this is the conversation that I wanted to start with because one of my favorite like national media members is Trey Wingo. I think he does a hell of a job. He has a unique personality and he keeps kind of like who he is intact. He put out that teams that have played the 49ers are 1-12 the game after they play. Did you hear that? Teams that play the 49ers, the next game they play are 1-12 on the season. Talking about souls, the 49ers take them. And a lot of that just has to do with the way in which they hit, they fight, they're tough in the trenches. And it's physically imposing. I finished the second half offensive breakdown in the win over the Seahawks this morning, loaded that up for Patreon members. That's up over there. It just wears out. You see the opposing defenses every single week just get wore out. And you get like, imagine being so exhausted and you played 50 plus snaps and you're going to lose at home and it's a short week. And then all of a sudden you've got Jordan Mason, big number 24 coming in. Whew. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. It just wears people down. It wears people down. And other teams are different than us. Scott says, can we just acknowledge how terrible the Colts are? They're awful. They're the worst. They're the absolute worst. Biggest. Yeah, we wanted the Colts to win. The good news is anybody scared of the Vikings? Is anybody scared of the Cowboys? Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. We'll talk about the Cowboys here in a second. But let me say this. So I was curious because I was like, man, what team got away with a victory after they played us? So I went through the whole roster or the whole schedule and I clicked on each team, looked at their schedule. Okay, they lost. Clicked on their team. Okay, they lost. I was like, I guess it's the Chiefs. But guess what? That's not even entirely, it is correct. But the game after us, the Chiefs had a bye week. They had a whole week off. Then they played the Titans and they did win, but they had to go to overtime and win. So I would put my spin on it. And again, this is not a shot at Trey Wingo. I love that dude. I'm a big Trey Wingo fan. No team that has played the 49ers this year has won the corresponding week. Not one. Teams are 0-12. Play the 49ers, you lose the next week. And we just played Seattle. Guess who they have this week? They have the Chiefs. That's going to be 0-13. They're not beating the Chiefs. They're not going to, which I don't care if they do. Doesn't really affect us one way or the other. But this team is just so heavy, like unimpeding. Like it just beats people to a pulp. And this is one of the main reasons why the 49ers have had so much success in the playoffs. Kyle Shanahan has 4 road playoff wins. That's crazy. That's crazy in 3 years. That's crazy. That's crazy. Sorry, I think it's 3. I think it's 3 road playoff wins. But it doesn't matter. I mean, it's absolutely incredible what they got. And what's up? Here we go. Sierra. I love it. Let's build a community. She says, I got extra tickets for the 49ers Commanders game this weekend. Great seats, friendly price. If you're interested, please DM. She's on Facebook, Sierra. Check that out. Would love to put that together. Oh, what's up, JP? I love it. We got another YouTube member. Look at this. We growing, baby. I love it. Appreciate the support. All positive, man. Shot J says, go subscribe, all that stuff. So here we go. Let's look at, Jordan. I love this comment. He says, did the Cowboys end up losing yesterday? They did. And probably one of the main things for best defense that is out there, the Cowboys were in the conversation. The Eagles were in the conversation, right? The 49ers, the Patriots were in the conversation. I don't know anymore. I really, really don't. And if you look at just what the Cowboys did the last 2 weeks, they have allowed 63 total points in 2 games against the Texans and the Jaguars. And if you look at just total yards allowed, 830 yards. The Texans and the Jaguars. I don't know, man. That is just not a defensive player of the year type caliber person. I just don't love it. I just don't love it. Oh, what's up, JP? He says food in Seattle was legendary, man. We had a good time. We had a really good time if you came out. Man, we had over 250 people show up to our tailgate party, which was great. I freaking loved it. We're working on stuff for the upcoming games as well. 49ersrushroadtrip.com. If you haven't checked that out yet, got to put the flag up there. What's up, baby? There we go. We've got details for the Saturday party in Vegas. We're finalizing all the stuff for the tailgate in Vegas. I know there's lots of parties. There's lots of options for that one, which is going to be awesome. But we just want to provide as many opportunities as we can to get people together. That's what we do. That's what these things are about. So, and, again, you look at, okay, the Cowboys allowed 63 points in back-to-back weeks. So then I was like, all right, cool. Let's look at this. How many games has it taken for the 49ers to allow 63 points? Not 1 game, not 2 game, not 3, not 4, not 5, 6 games. 6 games it took for the 49ers to allow teams to score 63 points. And it wasn't against the Texans, and it wasn't against the Jaguars. It was against the Seahawks, Bucks, Dolphins, Saints, Cardinals, Chargers. The best defense is pretty obvious. I really do think that's easy to see, right? Whether you're looking at metrics, whether you're looking at games, whether you're looking at just kind of what's going on everywhere else with, again, what Nick Bosa is doing right now is crazy. It's crazy. Somebody put out, like I think it was like Sunday Night Football or whatever else. And it was like, oh, who's your player of the year? And they had like, 3 or 4 players on there. And I was like, oh, probably not the one that just allowed 830 total yards on back-to-back weeks. Parsons is great, and he's for the Cowboys, which they get the eyes. But nah, bro. Nah. And, I got this question through email. And so I wanted to be able to answer. This is from Andrew. What's up, Andrew? Andrew H. He emailed me, and he basically said this: do you think this defense can be another all-time great if the victories continue the way we're beating opponents? He talked about the 2000 Ravens were 12-4. We could go 13-4, right? So you could kind of one up the record there. And he goes on to say, I've been a fan since 1990, and seeing this, he called it the firewall defense. It's one of the best ever since watching. So 2 things. We're going to dive in now. I spent almost this entire morning diving through the historical 49ers defenses and kind of see where they match up and all those things. And so I want to go through just kind of one of the main metrics to determine how great a defense is, because and that's points per game. I think that's what it comes down to, right? And so I wanted to see what that would go through. So as we do this, it would be fun to get a good nickname for this defense. What do we call it, right? There's been lots of like fun nicknames. So if you have an idea, tag me in the chat. Clayton's working. That dude's making some money. So it's just me in this chat. So if you see something, or if you come up with something, tag me. Put @John. It helps me see it really, really quick. It helps me out dramatically. Love it, man. Appreciate this. Well, he says, JC, best 49ers content by far. There's so many great ones. Really, it's just you kind of find your taste, but there's lots of positive ones to support. So the 49ers currently are first. I'm going to go through all their firsts. Then I'm going to measure this 49ers group versus past 49ers defenses, not through a personnelling and whatever else. I just want to look at what teams have allowed this few points per game. Because right now, the 49ers are averaging 15 points allowed per game. 15. That's it. Okay, it's best in the NFL. We're first in total yards, first in first downs allowed, first in rush attempts, first in rush yards, first in yards per rush, second in pass touchdowns, second in interceptions, second in quarterback knockdowns, quarterback hits. It probably my favorite stat, and shout out to Dan Case. He's the one that put me on this. The 49ers have forced 22 turnovers by a defense, right? So 22 turnovers forced. They've allowed 22 touchdowns. They have a 1-to-1 touchdown to touchdown to turnover ratio. That's incredible. That doesn't count. And again, I didn't put into this the Jeff Wilson return fumble or the special teams touchdown. So I took those out. So 24 touchdowns allowed on the year, but it's 22 forced turnovers, 22 touchdowns allowed. That's insane, man. That's insane, especially if you look at what this same unit did last year. Just last year, we had 9 total interceptions on the entire year. We're already at 14. You've you've freaking added so much better than what that is. And yeah, Melissa, I did see this. Dante Whitner, who is incredible, one of my favorite 49ers ever, said this could be the best 49ers defense ever. I do not disagree with him. And again, that's saying a lot for somebody, because we build up these names, and I have an entire playlist on YouTube called 49ers Nostalgia. And so if you want to go check those out, those are like all the ranking the top coaches, ranking the top draft picks, ranking the top defensive players, like biggest bust, whatever else. Like, I love that stuff. The funny thing is, I put more time into those episodes than I do any other ones because I'm a history guy, right? I taught history for 15 years. But they get the lowest views, which is interesting to me. But man, you start plugging in names, Patrick Willis, right? Justin Smith, Dante Whitner, and you hear these like Charles Haley, Deion Sanders. How do these people that we have now compare to that? And it's almost blasphemy. How in the world could you compare anybody to Patrick Willis? It's very difficult. Yeah. Savage says, I compare this roster to 1994. The roster is stacked. Oh, here we go. We got a name. Eric says, I like the Gold Rush defense. Very classic. The funny thing is, like, the Gold Rush is the name for the cheerleaders, right? My name for my show is 49ers Rush Podcast. I usually get titled, oh, he runs the Gold Rush Podcast, which I think is like copyright infringement, which I do not run that. But anyway, it's what it is. JP says, yeah, this roster doesn't need an elite quarterback. That's the best part. Yeah, the way we're winning with the third string quarterback, it's different. However, this third string quarterback is playing some freaking awesome ball. There's no doubt about that. Justin Smith was insane. Matt says his favorite player from that era. He was just incredible, man. It's been awesome. That's all I got to say. So let's go through. Here's what I did. I went through and I charted all the way back to 1960. I have a problem. All the way back to 1960, any of the 49ers defense that finished first, second, or third in total points allowed defensively. And I just wanted to kind of like look at these teams and kind of just see, I don't know, like my goal isn't to answer questions. I used to say this all the time as a teacher. Like, if you're coming to me to spoon feed you, like, that's not what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm going to give you little bits and pieces here and there. My thing that I'm trying to do as a teacher or as a podcast host, I want to create the atmosphere for healthy conversation so that you can understand and have your own opinions. I'm not trying to get you to agree with me. If you agree with me, you're a crazy person because I'm a moron. But I do think that we can create the atmosphere in which to have a healthy conversation for you to determine your own opinion. The 1994 49ers are not playing against the 2022 49ers, so there is no factual basis. We're not going to get a resolve of this. However, opinions are where it gets fun. Oh, look at Sid. She says, as per Fred Warner's pregame speech. If you haven't watched that yet, go watch it. I would throw it up on the channel. A lot of how do I say this? A lot of bleeps, a lot of beeps. Big Papa says, personally, 1963 would have been fair enough. John, yeah, I had to go back to 60 because I think 60 statistically one of the best defenses ever. So that's why I put it there. But yeah, 63 would have made sense. We got 1994. I love this. Somebody put a good name in here in the chat. It went up really fast and I missed it. I'm so sorry. I'm going to keep looking at this. Oh, I freaking missed it. Anyway, JP says, my job is to pose the question, food for thought. I understand. I love it. So let's look at these. Let's go through them. Okay. 2013, the 49ers defense third in points allowed. Again, keep in mind that the barometer that we have right now, the 49ers defense this year, 2022, allows 15 points per game. So that's what we're trying to see, just allowing that metric to create the conversation for where they fit, okay, historically, within Niners defenses. 2013, and that was, Patrick Willis, Bowman, all of them, right? They allowed 17 points per game, so 2 extra, and they were third best. 2012, same group, second best. They allowed 17.06 points. 2011, their best year, they allowed 14.31 points per game, which is better than where we currently are, but they didn't even finish number one. They finished second to the Steelers, who barely beat them, with 14.2. Now, let's go to the 2011 49ers defense, right? And here we go. I'm just going to go through the defensive starters. Okay. This is again, 2011, 12, 13, a lot of, kind of carryover between those rosters. But I feel the best one was the 2011 from a points per game standpoint. Okay. Here's the defensive line starters 3-4 Vic Fangio, right? Ray McDonald, Isaac Sopoaga, Justin Smith. Freaking beast. Linebackers, Mod Brooks, man, incredible. 7 sacks that year. Navarro Bowman, Patrick Willis. That's just stupid. It's just absolutely stupid. And Paris Harrison, can't leave him off. He was out there as well. Corners, Carlos Rogers, Terrell Brown, hook 'em horns, and Dante Whitner, Deshaun Golston. Freaking, it's awesome. It's such a great group. And again, like, you kind of look at the things that they did better than other teams. Number one, they forced 38 turnovers. That 2011, they were best in the NFL. They forced 38 turnovers forced. That is stupid. A lot of that's Patrick Willis freaking coming in and punching. But you had like that. That's their number one stat. So you're not going to have a team that does more than that, right? It doesn't exist. Again, you go back to where we at. This year, the 49ers have forced 22. They forced 38. That's crazy. Now, let's spice this up a little bit. Because let's listen to this. Okay, if you go to 2011 and let's try to have this cross conversation. What made them the best? Pressures on the quarterback, turnovers. What makes this 49ers team the best? I think coverage and hustle to the ball. Listen to Fred Warner.
That's just what we pride ourselves on, not only in our room, but in the entire defense. I think that's what separates us, what makes us different, is the genuine want and need for everybody to get there and to, get there with a purpose. I think that's what makes us different.
And so, like, amazing tackling. That's this year, right? 2022 defense. Unbelievable. But back to the Trey Wingo stat. Nobody can win a game after they play us. Why? Because they're getting their butts kicked 24/7. And they are just getting literally destroyed. I don't know, man. I get a little excited. But this is not a conversation where I'm going to, like, quote unquote, pick a winner. That's not what I'm trying to do at all. That's not what this is. It's just, where do they fit? Do they fit in the conversation? I think 1000% they fit, right? I don't think anybody's saying that they don't fit. Ooh, I like this name. Scott says, I call them D'Amico's dogs. Ooh, I kind of like that one, man. Ooh. I like that. So I'm trying to catch all the names that are coming through here. Oh, here we go, Niners Nation with a Z. He says the Bay Area Bruisers. I like that. Or Mutants, either or. I like these names, man. I need to keep track of these and try to put them up there, because it's sad to say this, but in today's kind of media world or whatever, if you don't have that cool name, it ain't going to catch on. You got to have something. You got to, for the kids to get involved. Sin says this is the Swarm defense. Oh, my high school team, Swarm is how we broke every defensive huddle every single time. So, like, that was big. Like, that's how, like, we kind of, like, I grew up playing football. It's like, oh, you got to have, all that kind of passion, Swarm, everybody hustling to the ball all the time, which this team has. It really, really does. Sin says, even the Seahawks official page said the 49ers defense is as advertised. Well, I think so, since they scored 1 touchdown against the 49ers in 8 quarters offensively. Yeah, I think that's good. Right here, Bay Area Swarmers, Bay Area Bruisers, the Mutant Swarmers. Ooh, I like these. I like the word swarm. I do. And yeah, there's like an acronym that they have for it. I think you're right, Mike. Yeah, I like that. Hot Boys Reloaded. Woo. Growing up in the South, listened to, young YMCA. Yeah, there we go. Hot Boys. There we go. Now let's jump to another era, because the 90s had some good defenses. They really, really did. 1997, the 49ers finished 3rd in the NFL. They allowed 16.5 points. 1995, 16.1 points. They were second. Again, keep in mind, 2022, 15 points per game is where they are currently. And then 1990 was the best defense of that period. There's no doubt about that. Oop, wrong link. Let me click this correctly. They finished second, but finished 14.9 points. So again, better than the current 49ers by 1/10 of a point, but they didn't even finish first. Yeah. Anybody want to guess which team finished with the best defense in 1990? It wasn't the 49ers. I'll give you guys some time as I pull up that roster because I want to go through this roster as well. Anybody want to guess 1990? Who had the best defense? I'll do this. I'll give you a free shirt. I'll give you a free shirt. So first one to guess the correct answer on who had the best defense in the NFL. It was not the Cowboys. I would not be doing a giveaway if it was the Cowboys. Screw those turds. Raphael, thank you for the gift of the super chat, man. He says over or under 6 Pro Bowlers from the 90s. Well, guess what? For the Niners, we got that answer right now. And the correct answer is you kind of hit it because it was 6 exactly. And we're going to go over those, where everybody fit, where they were all slated. We're going to go through that again at the second half of this show. But yeah, Raphael, not to jump the gun, but man, I feel like you're writing my show right here. Yeah, correct answer. 6 Pro Bowlers. That's what they had. Here we go. The correct answer. The first one that I saw, Melissa, she knows her stuff. What's up? Shout out to Melissa. The Giants are the correct answer. They had the best defense with a 13.1 in 1990. And anybody want to guess the captain of that defense? Yeah, he was pretty freaking good. None other than Lawrence Taylor himself. Yeah, there we go. Snapper. He got it correct, but Melissa got it first. Melissa, reach out to me. Just email me. I will email you. B&D got it. Jason got it. Joe got it. Raphael got it. I love it. So congrats to Melissa. Yeah, LT, none other than Lawrence Taylor himself. Dude was crazy. Bunch of crazed dogs out here. Now, let's go through. Let's look through this 1990 roster. Now, to our newer generations, you might hear some names that perhaps you don't remember. And there's nothing wrong with that. This was officially the first year I joined the 49ers bandwagon, right? Because I grew up in Dallas, Texas. And so I had a stepdad that was a diehard Cowboys fan, hated his guts. I started rooting for the Cowboys the year, my birthday's September. And for my birthday, I asked for a Jerry Rice jersey just to piss him off because I wanted a Cowboys fan to buy me a 49ers jersey just to piss him off. He refused to. I went and complained to my mom with some alligator tears. I cried and how it was the only thing I wanted and why won't he let me? So she forced him to buy it for me. And that was it. So 1990 was the year I stepped on the scene as part of the faithful. And the best news is, here we go. We're going on a journey. You guys ready for this? That is the jersey right there that I still have today. It wasn't even like a nice one, right? It's the like faded, old, like printed on barely. That jersey's been through a lot. But that's still the same jersey. Like I will not like, I got it, baby. But yeah, so that's whatever I jumped on. So 1990 was my first year. So let's go through this. Man, can we go through the offense too? I know this is a defensive conversation, but man, these names need to be read. Let's go through the offensive line. Bubba Paris, Guy McIntyre, Jesse Sapolo. It was pretty awesome when we threw our Santa Clara party. Me and Wayne are just sitting there. Well, I'm meeting Wayne down in the lobby. I come down, what's up, Wade? And sure enough, he's just sitting there talking to Jesse Sapolo, just hanging out. Like, how cool is that? Harrison Barton, Steve Wallace, Brent Jones was tight end, wide receivers, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Tom Rathman, Roger Craig, Joe Montana. Whew, beautiful. Now, let's go to the defense, right? They finished second. Defensive line, it was a 3-4. Pierce Holt, Michael Carter, Kevin Fagan. Linebackers, Charles Haley, Matt Millen, Keith DeLong, Bill Romanowski out there spitting on people. Then our corners, Darryl Pollard, Don Griffin, and our safeties, Chet Brooks, and the man. I loved Jerry Rice. I really, really did. Like, he was kind of the person that brought me into it, right? He's the best. It was Roger. I mean, it was Ronnie Lott. It was Ronnie Lott, man. That was the guy. Yeah, the Jerry Rice. It needs to make an appearance every single episode, Melissa, because it just, I don't know. It's the superhero or supervillain in this case origin story, right? Like, what is it that made you a fan? And we've talked a lot about this, but man, share that story, protect that story. It's a beautiful. Sonia says, my dad was a 49ers diehard. I was born into this. Oh, I freaking love it, man. That is awesome. So like that team, I mean, it was good. Now, if we look at just kind of what made the 1990s defense special, they were not number one in any category. A lot of that was the Giants. They were 2 in points, 3rd in yards, 2nd in first downs, 2nd in rush yards. Like, it was just, I don't know. They weren't really insane at any one thing. But what they did do, let's look at the personal stats. Go through this. Sacks. Yeah, Charles Haley had 16 sacks in 16 games. That's pretty incredible. There's no doubt about that. And so, if you're just looking for like what they did well, they got after the quarterback. They hit the quarterback a lot. So that was 1990. All right, now let's go to the 80s teams. Okay. But before we do that, real quick, just want to say the best way to support the show, as always, is our Patreon show, which I'm so pumped about today because we are going to be doing our Zoom hangout tonight, Monday, before the holidays. We're going to be watching the Monday Night Football game together. We're going to watch the Rams play, but we're going to be talking 49ers and all that stuff. So we're going to be watching Zoom. We're going to be on Zoom together talking while we got the game on in the background, just hanging out. That's going to be tonight at 5:30. And so we're going to be doing that for the Jerry Rice tier, Bill Walsh tier, and the Steve Young tier. So if you want to join that tonight, that's going to be at 5:30 Zoom hangout. And if you've never made one, oh man, they're a good time. Probably one of my favorite times of the month. So best way to support the show, Patreon as always. All you got to do is go to patreon.com/49ers Rush Podcast. And as soon as you sign up, you get almost everything, depending on the tier you pick. And if you're just interested in 49ers play, guess what? We have every single offensive, defensive, and special teams play from the last 2.5 years. Every single game for the 49ers. Nobody else has this content. Now, not to mention we have extra episodes weekly. We've got scouting report breakdowns. We've got betting. We've got your one-stop shop for 49ers content. And if you want to be heard, guess what? We got Zoom Hangouts twice a month where we listen to you. Patreon.com/49ers Rush Podcast, or just Google Patreon and 49ers. We're the first one that shows up. All right. I love it. Josh says Patreon is fire. Check it out. If you want to check it out, don't like it, money back guaranteed as always. Just message me. Hey, John, not my thing. Gotcha. No worries, but would appreciate it if you guys could come out. Oh, what's up, Sid? She says, I'll be done prepping for Christmas. I assume that's what or for court. No, she's an attorney. She's hardcore. I'll be at the Zoom. I have court tomorrow. Always, she's out there freaking fighting for people, man. I love it. Yes, this episode, Josh, Steve Young tier is going to join live this episode. Usually it's Jerry Rice and above, but I wanted to add on to it. I wanted some more people to come hang out today. That was the idea. So I just kind of want to let them see what it's like. So that's what that's going to be. Now, let's go to the 80s. Okay, 1985. The 49ers finished second place with a 17.5 grade. 1984, a little known fact. Only 2 times in the history of the 49ers with all these great defenses had they finished number 1 in points allowed. Just twice. We're going to cover both those. But the most recent time, which breaks my heart, is 1984. That was the most recent time the 49ers finished number 1 overall, which is crazy to me. Now, they finished with 14.1 points per game, which is even better than, where we are now. Now, let's go through this defense. 3-4 again. Defensive line, Jim Stuckey, Manu, I'm going to mess up his name, Tua Sosopo, Dwayne Board, linebackers, Dan Buns, Ricky Ellison, Jack Reynolds, Keena Turner. Oh, love seeing Keena Turners. Cornerback that year was Ronnie Lott. This was before he made the switch to safety. Eric Wright. You know what's kind of cool about like going through these rosters is we've had so many of these people at our events. Like I being able to meet and bring fans and these players from the past together is so freaking awesome. Safeties, Carlton Williamson, Dwight Hicks. Oh, this is nuts, man. This is so cool. I get excited. Just kind of looking at these teams. Now, what was it that made the 1984 team so special? They just didn't let people score. People couldn't score on them. People couldn't throw the ball on them. They were able to kind of impose their will, but they did it in a different way. They weren't really a sack heavy team. They just did not allow touchdowns. And then listen to these interceptions. This is where it gets weird. Okay. Keep in mind, the 49ers have 15 interceptions this year. Keenan Turner, 4 picks. Ronnie Lott, 4 picks. Todd Shell, 3 picks. Dwight Hicks, 3 picks. Carlton Williams, 2 picks. Dana McLemore, 2 picks. Jim Fawnhorst, I'm pretty sure I messed that up, 2 picks. Eric Wright, 2 picks. Jim Fuller, 1 interception. Mario Clark, 1 interception. Dan Buns, 1 interception. They had 25 interceptions. It's pretty damn special, man. That's a lot of picks. That's a lot of picks. And it wasn't just 1 or 2 guys. It was everybody. Everybody had ball skills on defense. And, oh, look at this. I knew my man David would show up. Dan Buns with the stop at the goal line. Again, this is before my time. I was but 2 years old, not breaking down film just yet. But, man, let me put this out there. I was thinking about some extra off-season content. Would it be worthwhile to maybe set up and go through some of these older championship seasons that maybe we didn't know much about and finding ways to, like, I got to be able to find the game tape. I've got connections with the 49ers. I should be able to get some of it. So if you know of a way that we can go back through this offseason project, but looking ahead, man, wouldn't it be awesome to, like, sit down and watch some of these games and, like, learn about? Some of you guys were around back then. I wasn't. I know a lot of the fan base wasn't, but man, to educate ourselves on, like, the history of the 49ers, I think that would just be freaking, I don't know. Maybe I'm just the only one that's like that. Oh, you pronounced? I said it right. Fawnhorst? That's what's up. Look at that, baby. I love it. Mike says I was in 6th grade in 84. So yeah, I love it. I love it. JP says, yes, let's do that. This is awesome, man. Yeah, let's set it up, man. I think this would be awesome. History is important. We have one of the most historical franchises. Oh, Benji says, yes, it would. I got all 5 Super Bowls on DVD. Man, I want to be honest. I don't have a DVD player. That's bad, right? That's bad. That's bad. And our notorious GAV, who's a big time fullback guy, he has fought for Kyle Juszczyk to become a captain, and he's so close every single year. He says, educate me on some Tom Rathman, baby. I love it. I love it. Yeah, Debbie. Oh, what's up, Debbie? She says, I think it'd be great to educate the younger fans of some of our history because, man, that offseason break is rough. And you got the draft in there, which helps. But, man, I think this would be the perfect year to just jump in there, go through some of the history. David says Rathman was William Floyd and Ricky Waters' running back coach when Board and Keenan Turner were there. Yeah, Rathman was one of the best coaches and well-respected coaches in the NFL for a long time. William Floyd, I wore 40 whenever I played football. So like he had his impact on me, man. I freaking love that dude. Now, we are not done because there are 2 more teams that I want to talk about, one in detail. The 1981 team, they were second in points allowed, 15.6. And then 1960, I told you we went way back. The 1960 team is the only other 49ers franchise besides 1984, to lead the NFL in points per game. That's it. It's only happened twice, 1984, 1960. Now, that was way back with the old Niners shooting the gun logo and all that kind of stuff, which I absolutely love. Now, let's look at these rosters and players. I think you might recognize some of them better than others. Here we go. This was an actual 4-3 team. I'm going to mess these names up. Okay. Defensive line, Daniel Colchico, Leo Namalini, baby. Leo the Lion. I love it. Monty Clark, Charlie Kruger. I mean, these guys are, Pro Bowlers. Leo's the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's incredible. Charlie Kruger, I believe. Is Charlie Kruger? I want to answer this live on air. Two-time Pro Bowler. I think that can somebody help me out? Was he retired by the 49ers? It's number 70. Did we retire Charlie Kruger's number? He's a Texas boy from Caldwell, Texas. Will somebody research that? Throw that up in the chat. I would love that. So linebackers, listen to this. Gordon Kelly, he was a rookie who started that year. Ed Hinkey, Matt Hazeltine, and then our corners, Jerry Martins, Abe Woodson, who was first team All-Pro, Pro Bowler, Dave Baker, and Eddie Dove. How cool is that? And that was, John Brody, Hugh McElhenney, all those guys on the offensive side. That was the 1960s team. How freaking cool is that? Man, I love this. This is so cool. Sorry, I'm geeking out a little bit right now, but this is like, I don't know. It brings it to life. These sport the same jerseys for the same team that we love today. I freaking love it, man. And so now we have perspective, or perhaps context is a better word, for where to kind of slide in this 2022 team. I think it fits up there in the conversation with every single one of these. I really, really do. And I just, I don't know, man. Yeah, I love this. People are making fun of me because I don't have a DVD player. But people want in on this. Okay, cool. We'll set this up. 81D was legendary. They were second. Nomalini is in the Hall of Fame. I love that. Yes, Gary says, what about the old Niners with the $1 million backfield? That's right, man. I have been bidding. I always do the giveaways and the autographs and all their things. There's an old program going around with the entire Hall of Fame backfield, $1 million backfield, who autographed it. And I've been trying to get it. It's just a little too pricey for me, but I just want that for myself. I don't want to give it away. I'll just say like it's. We'll leave it at that. David says, John, as a Texas guy, who's your favorite Niner all time from Texas? As a non-Texan, the only one that comes to mind is Trent Williams. I can't say Trent Williams because he played for the Sooners, even though he's incredible. I can't do it. I cannot do it. I don't know the answer to that question off the top of my head. That is a bad answer. Look at that. Got egg on my face. I can't say a Sooner. I can't do it. Can't do it. I'm going to go Charles Minihue right now. I'm going to cheat. Okay, so here we go. Let's transition. Let's go to the Pro Bowl conversation. The 49ers got 6 Pro Bowlers in, which is awesome. Awesome job. But let's go through, and this is a list from Matt Mayoko, who tweeted this out. He has access to all of the people where they've slotted and all that stuff. So I don't have access to that. So as far as like the players that got in and qualified for the Pro Bowl, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Juszczyk, Trent Williams, George Kittle. Boom, 6. So we got 6 in. Now let's look at it by position to see where these players all fit in amongst their positions. Nick Bosa, most votes for any defensive end. Fred Warner, most votes for any linebacker. Christian McCaffrey, and again, this is for the conference, right? So this is the NFC. Christian McCaffrey, first running backs. Kyle Juszczyk, first fullbacks. Trent Williams, first tackles. Kittle was second for second most votes. Long snapper Tabor Pepper, who I love, but I'm going to be honest with you, we watch every single special teams film. Definitely not a Pro Bowl year. I don't watch all the other long snappers. This has been Tabor Pepper's worst year as a snapper. But I love him, and I love that he is getting the recognition that he deserved last year for this year. And that's kind of the way the Pro Bowl works. And if you want, like, let me just say, how do I? The Pro Bowl is a very inconsistent, non-healthy way to determine quality players. It's name recognition and campaigning only. To put that into perspective, this is my evidence. The number one vote getter for any player was Tua Tagovailoa. He's not a top 6 quarterback in the NFL. 49ers defense showed that. Like, that's dumb, right? The fact that he could have gotten a vote when Patrick Mahomes is in the same conference is asinine. It's absolutely stupid. Doesn't mean the whole process is a mess. It is, but you have to take all this with a grain of salt. A lot of it is not merit based; it's popularity based. And to put this into perspective, when the first votes were tallied, Fred Warner was 7th, I believe, and Dre Greenlaw wasn't even on there. Fred Warner put a couple tweets out, "Hey man, vote for me." Then he shot all the way up to number 1, and Greenlaw went from not even listed to he finished as the number 6 linebacker, which I'm cool with. Still was robbed. I mean, the dude, there are not 5 better linebackers than Dre Greenlaw. There are not 5 linebackers that have made bigger plays than Dre Greenlaw. There are not 5 linebackers that have made, just no. But that's okay. So Kittle second, Pepper second. Hufanga was third. I thought pretty solid. He had the big splash plays, but his play has gone down. There's no doubt about that. Wisnowski was third. I think that's warranted. That's about where he should be. Ray McLeod was third. I thought he's had a good year. Robbie Gould fourth. DFF, special teamer, was fourth. My biggest thing was, dude, Samuel Womack has been the best special teams player we've had all year. Like, that dude wouldn't, like, I tried to vote for him. You couldn't even find him on the thing. He wasn't even listed. Samuel Womack should be our special teams player of the year. He wasn't even listed. Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. Anyway, Greenlaw finished 6th. Aaron Banks finished 8th. Debo 9th. Charvarius Ward 9th. Are you freaking out of your damn mind, people? What is wrong with you? I understand undrafted free agent, came over from the Chiefs. That dude, he's top 4 at worst. At worst. Did you see him shut down DK Metcalf? Gonna get me mad. Brindle 9th at center. That's crazy to me. But one of the things that I thought was interesting, that I haven't usually seen them on, the team that received the most votes combined, the 49ers. The 49ers. It's a star power team, man. That is a star power team. I don't mind the fans voting, but it should be like 1/10 or something like that. And again, what is the NFL concerned with? They just care about money and TVs, and this kind of helps. Yeah, we should have some All-Pros this year. That is correct. Nick Bosa, 100% All-Pro. Warner, All-Pro. Juszczyk, All-Pro. Trent Williams, All-Pro. That's 4 locks. McCaffrey, I don't know. I don't think so. Kittle, I doubt it. You should have 4. You should have 4 All-Pros. 4, maybe 5. Because again, I hate to tell you this, my 2 All-Pro linebackers, if I was voting, and I watch a lot of NFL, it'd be Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner. It's hard to find anybody playing better, but we'll kind of see what there is. Now, look, I love this. None of your business. She says this. Do you think Kinlaw will make a difference? Yeah, if you've seen Kinlaw play in there, as opposed to Ty McGill, as opposed to Akeem Spence, yeah, that makes a difference. The body's just different. And again, you don't need, get them 15 snaps, save them for power run plays, sub them in, things like that. Like, yeah, it makes a difference. Greenlaw, it makes a difference. It's what it is. It's what he does. It's what he does. Yeah, they don't do the All-Pro for fullbacks anymore. That's right. They do Pro Bowl, but they do 3 wide receivers instead. Yeah, you're correct. So this is fun. I really enjoyed this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this too. And just again, a quick reminder tonight, man, come party with us. We have our Zoom hangout meeting. And so it's already been posted on Patreon with the Zoom link at 5:30. We're going to watch the game. We're going to hang out. We're going to talk some Niners. It's going to be a lot of fun because, man, there's so much to break down and just enjoy. This is my time to hear from you and for you guys to talk. And I just kind of show up and we all kind of whatever. But it's going to be a lot of fun. So come hang out with us tonight. Absolutely great time. I love it. Daniel says the best 49ers channel, and Plant Feeder says Matt Hazeltine played throughout the 60s, eventually replaced by Frank Nunley. Ooh, little trivia question there. I can get down with that, man. I need to learn more. I got to educate myself better. Got to. I think we all could. So anyway, thank you guys. This is awesome. Been an absolute blast. And until next time, stay strong, faithful.